Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a year since your last YouTube video?
Just 9 months.
9 months?
Just 9 months.
How frequently do you plan on posting now? Are you gonna wait another 9 months to post the next YouTube video?
Hell no!
So this is gonna become what? A frequent thing? Like,
Yeah.
Are we looking at one a month?
Ooh, I want to do like one a week.
What day? When can we expect?
Friday. TGIF?
And then we could get content over the weekend for the next
Sure.
video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 9 months since you posted your last video. You've been active on Instagram. You've been somewhat active on Facebook.
Totally.
Well, you've been active in other places, right? You've been doing conventions. Kickstarter was big.
That's where I've been active. So yes, hello my lovely friends. It's my face and not my hand. It has been 9 months since you've seen my hand on YouTube, but I have been very, very, very busy in those 9 months, all because of you guys. In a good way, in a very good way. As you can see, I actually am in a bit of a set right now. It's not a set though, it is my studio. Yeah, that's right, I have a studio now. Before, I only painted on my couch or on a little card table in whatever spare room of the house I could find. And now I don't have to do that because you guys overfunded my Galaxy Girls Kickstarter 1000%. And because of the success of that Kickstarter, I got to make my first ever hardcover book based on all the illustrations that I did on my YouTube last October. But hold up, wait, what's that? I have my first sponsor too? Super excited to announce that Skillshare has sponsored this video. They are truly one of my favorite platforms to go to learn about anything new. Seriously. They have thousands of classes. I got to learn tips and tricks for this video with microns and pens and gold leafing for next video, all on their platform, covering dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. If you end up liking this video, Skillshare has tons of other classes on inking for both beginners and professionals. And lucky you guys, because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, you can sign up with the link in the description to get a 2-month free trial with any of their classes. So be sure to give my first sponsor some love by clicking the link below and getting 2 free months of any classes you want. And if you do fall in love with their platform, an annual subscription after that is less than $10 a month. Now back to more on my Galaxy Girls book. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, last year during October, I did a different illustrated constellation every single day for 31 days, not including the cover art. And I posted almost all of them on YouTube. I still have about 8 that I should get to, but to be honest, by that time the Kickstarter had taken off so much that I just didn't have time to keep filming and keep posting. I tried my best, so I'll probably make like 1 or 2 videos where I piece together the pieces that I didn't get to last year. But yeah. Long story short, you guys funded this book 1000%, and I sent out over 1,500 packages that I packed all myself like a crazy person because I just wanted it to be perfect and special for you guys. So thank you so much. You're the reason I'm in the studio now and the reason I get to make hopefully weekly videos. So I figured because it's been so long, why don't I just do another Inktober, because that's a smart idea for me and my sanity. As soon as possible, I do want to make a video about how the Kickstarter process went. Basically, I was so busy that I didn't get to film much of the process, which is my fault for packaging everything myself.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
Overall, it was very worth it. However, there were some things that I learned that I shouldn't have done. For the most part, this Kickstarter and this series was career changing for me. However, I did make some mistakes, some pricey mistakes, like over $23,000 pricey mistakes. But it's okay because I learned, and I'm gonna work on making a video about how maybe if you're interested in a Kickstarter, you can avoid these mistakes that I made. But today, I wanna jump back into things with something a little more fun. We are going to compare everyone's favorite tool, a Micron, versus something I've never tried before and was really expensive, a koh-i-noor Rapidograph pen. Both are technically technical pens, but one is about $2 to $3 per pen, and the other can be anywhere from $24 to $60 per pen. I'm kind of hoping the Micron wins. So a set of 7 Microns probably costs around $15 to $20, whereas a set of 7 of these pens, including this humidifier case, cost me $163. It's fine, it's fine. The frickin' mic just fell. I have double-sided like tape over there, or duct tape.
It's it, Lydia.
I just want to use my pens. Got that? Camera guy who went to Westworld. Oh my god! We don't know what we're doing. It cost me $163. But hey, it rotates and it humidifies. And I don't know what I'm doing with these. I don't really even know what they are, but I saw like one person use it and I was like, I just gotta try them. So, I mean, I kind of hope I don't fall in love because they're very expensive, and I would love to say, just get yourself some Microns, you'll be fine. So I guess we'll find that out. Dying to draw again. So I am going to take part in Inktober. I just might not film every day, and I want to work on something I haven't really focused on in a while, which is animals. Purely animal drawing. I used to actually only draw animals. All I would draw as a kid is horses. And it's been quite a while since I've really focused on them. I'm a little worried because I feel like most people are here for my female drawing, so we'll see how it goes. And most importantly, especially with the Amazon burning right now and all the species that we're losing in the world, I really want to try and draw 31 endangered, critically endangered, or vulnerable animals. Everything from our favorites like tigers, rhinos, pandas, to the lesser known ones like saolas or vaquitas. Some that I'm hoping you've heard of, like the pangolin. Pretty much I have a long-term goal with this. Although I made a lot of mistakes with Kickstarter, I really would love to do another Kickstarter, but this time start it at the beginning of next year and hopefully find some sort of charity that protects the rainforest, endangered species, etc., and donate a percentage of everything from the Kickstarter for those charities. Those are pretty big, somewhat long-term goals. I'm gonna try to draw them in 1 month, but I'm definitely not going to do a Kickstarter right away and rush into it. I'm gonna plan it out a bit more this time. But today, I want to relax and do a bit of a fun video. So of course, for this video, I am primarily using Microns and koh-i-noor Rapidograph pens. Both of these tools are technical pens, with Rapidographs being the first, with Microns being kind of the attempt to make Rapidographs easier to use. Now, I really don't know a whole lot at all about Rapidograph pens, but I do know that they were made to make a consistent line, meaning absolutely no variation in line size, whereas a brush pen would give you a lot of variation, and even a Micron will give you some variation with pressure. So I kind of justified getting such an expensive set so that I could explore with you guys and see if it's worth it. Now, finding these pens was not super easy. It used to be under the name Rotring, and those pens aren't easily available. So at first, I thought I had to spend a huge amount of money to get just one pen off of eBay. Luckily, that's not the case. Rotring actually sold the rights to koh-i-noor, so now they are made in the United States. And once I looked up that name, it was really easy to find this set on Blick. And just so you know, Blick always has some coupons, so if you want to snag one of these, definitely wait until they have a sale, like I did. Now on Blick, you can get a single pen at a time, or you can get the set. And the reason I got the set is that so many people said that these pens are horrible to clean. They come in different nibs that attach from the holder. And see, I shouldn't have been shaking it. I already messed up. So I will have to clean this pen real quick. And to be really honest with you, I don't know how to clean this yet. I really should have done more research before buying such expensive pens. You would think that I would do that, but I didn't. So like you can see, these are already kind of a pain. They just require a lot of maintenance. Yes, people warn me that the humidifier really helps keep the nibs fresh because it's actually like a little tube in there, I believe, that will dry out if you leave it for too long. Like even leave it in the cap, not just uncapped. So I decided, you know, I wanted to take care of these pens if I was gonna make the investment. Before I show you what's in here, I actually wanna show you another thing I got to keep my investment. And it is this little cleaning kit that I also bought on Blick, and everything will be in the description below, everything I'm using. So it comes with this Rapido-Ease cleaner, which I actually didn't really know how to use it before. I would dip it in and it did seem to help my pens not clog up overnight. Or I believe you can put some in here and then put the nib in and squeeze it and it rinses it out. Basically, there's a cleaning method. If I really like these pens and get into them, I will give a more proper explanation later. I don't even need to explain the microns. I mean, they just come in a set, you open it, and that's it. You can't refill them, they're disposable, but they're pretty easy to use. This actually came with instructions too. They're pretty confusing. It's not really instructions, it just kind of shows the parts. It's not super great. I already read through it and filled some of the nibs, but basically there's a cap, all of it rotates so you can select your perfect nib easily and with fanciful grace. And then it also comes with more cleaner and some ink that is waterproof, which is awesome for if you want to do watercolor over it. And then it comes with 3 holders. One of the holders was in here. So it's kind of weird because not all your pens have holders. You just have to switch them out, I guess, which is just kind of a hassle. I also couldn't find a place to just buy the holder, so it's just another hassle. But I mean, I guess you really only use 3 different line variations at a time normally, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, and I'm sure I could find holders somewhere. And then you have to like squeeze this thing open to I'm just not gonna do it because I don't want water to get everywhere. But you squeeze it open and there's a little reservoir where you can put just a tiny bit of water, and while you are drying, if you want to take a break, you don't leave it out or else it will clog up and be awful. You don't leave it in here because it could do the same thing. You put it upside down in here. Okay, so now that I've explained it a bit, I actually want to test out some lines and see if there's really any difference. And then after I test out the lines and some things, I'm going to draw like probably a dog side by side, same dog, and try to ink both versions with different pens and see how it feels. Okay, so first I'm going to start out with the 005 Micron, which is one of the smallest ones they make, not the smallest. But just to give you a look at what the lines look like, here it is. And then here's some dots, just pressing down, not making any circle motion. Not bad, not bad. Not super, well, yeah, they're pretty uniform, but if you press really lightly, you can get some really light dots, which is really nice about the Microns, that you can do a variation within each point, so you don't have to constantly switch points. Let me try drawing sideways too. It's pretty good. It gives definitely a more sketchy look when drawing sideways like this, which I do like to do, but it doesn't give as solid of a line. So there's that. And then kind of the equivalent would be, I believe, the 0.25 in the Rapidograph. Let me just move that up. Did I say 2.5? 2.5. It's still a little big. I ordered some smaller nibs because I like to draw really small, but for now this is my smallest nib. So I believe with the Rapidograph you're supposed to press straight down into the paper. Oh, I got a little sideways there. they're not as easy to control, but the line is definitely very smooth. It might be kind of hard to see, but the Rapidograph definitely has this richer ink, whereas next to the Micron, I feel like the Micron is a little gray. And then dot-wise, it's definitely not as easy to do any variation with these. Which makes sense. It's a technical pen. You want it to be the same size for pretty much everything. So yeah, I'm trying to make variations here, but it's no matter how light you draw, it's the same. And then sideways, oh, still not bad. You can't go too far to the side, but it's less sketchy. See how that has like some breaks in the lines, whereas this is pretty much the same. And sorry if this is a little off. This is the first time I'm using such a macro lens with my work, so hopefully I'll get better with that. Okay. Now I think we'll be able to see more variation with a bigger nib, so I'm gonna switch this out. All right, so now I'm gonna try something a little bigger. This is definitely a bigger nib on the Micron. It's a 0.3, which I usually don't use anything this big, but I'm going to be working bigger for the endangered species images, so I do need to get used to using a bigger nib. So let's see, 0.3, another line. There we go. So again, nice line. Quickly, still a nice line. It's definitely a smaller line though when you draw quickly. Let's do some dots. I feel like this is where Micron kind of fails. Not necessarily fails, but I just like how Rapidograph pens always have kind of like a genuine circle, whereas these can get really, if you're circling fast, it gets that weird peppered texture, and sometimes I really want like an actual circle in my art. So let's try the equivalent. This is a 2 in the Rapidograph, not a 3, but I think it's going to be similar. Otherwise known as a 0.6. Definitely darker. I can really see it in person. This just looks gray and this looks black. Which, I mean, you can use different ink for the Rapidograph pen, but you can't use different ink for Micron. So if you want something really rich, Microns might not cut it. And then let me do a quick line with this. Ooh, I couldn't do it. Interesting, that's not good. Okay, maybe, no, it's kind of bouncing. Huh, I was hoping it would just make a straight line. I'm a little disappointed. I guess with a technical pen, they want you to be a little more focused than just quickly drawing lines. So I guess that makes sense. Dots, dot, dot. There's a little variation, but I feel like the dotting effect is much more even. Even if I do it quickly. So it's more like dots than these. They're a little more scribbly. But for one more test before I get to drawing, I want to use the biggest nib that I have, which is a 1.20 in the Rapidograph. 1 points fat. And I apologize, I'm probably blocking it, but you really have to go up and down with these. 20. Okay, it's thick. I'm gonna test that against the 0.8 Micron, which is pretty similar. Okay, I'm kind of writing upside down right now, so my numbers are pretty crooked. All right, so here's the 0.8. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Some dots. Lots of variation in those dots. unless I really just try. Okay. Versus the 1.20. Ooh, that is smooth. It's a little, the line, I don't know if you can see that, but it's, there's like a little tooth to this line. It's not big, but this one actually looks sharper. I wonder if it's because I wasn't purely up and down. Let me try that one more time. It's not that bad. The 08 doesn't look as gray to me either, so gosh, I mean, they're pretty similar. The dots on this are pretty good. Basically, I just don't think I'm going to be able to figure it out until I actually draw something. I have a feeling it's going to just feel different the way it handles while drawing. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and draw with these guys. Oh, and it's smudged. So as far as smudging goes, this definitely takes longer to dry. I wonder when it is dry if it's more waterproof. Quick unplanned flash test. Now these ones have been sitting for a while, and let's see what happens. Nothing. Nothing happened at all. Nothing. These are pretty much the same. Did I really just spend $163 on pen that I already had? It's okay. It's okay. There's got to be a difference. Okay, maybe I found something. So while I was frustrated, I started dotting on this cap. The thicker dots are a Rapidograph pen, and this is a Micron. And the Rapidograph pen left some really nice circles and dried pretty fast on plastic. Now let me test. Yep, look at that. They were sitting for the same amount of time on plastic, and the Micron is just gone. So I guess maybe this is better drawing on plastic. Okay, I'm just gonna draw with these. So last week I wanted to kind of test out this inking style with Procreate before trying it on paper, and I decided to draw a borzoi because they have kind of a mixture of short hair and really long hair and curly hair and straight hair. So I did this little drawing, and quickly off camera I'm going to put it over a light box and make 2 identical sketches that I can ink over. Okay, one more thing I just noticed is this paper is suddenly the coolest thing I've ever seen. I got so many different types of Bristol board for the endangered species project, and I do want to make a video of them after the gold video, but I have to show you guys this right now. So this is by koh-i-noor, Bristol. They're smooth, pretty good paper, and I didn't know what they were talking about with their technology, but it's actually pretty cool. You don't have to tear out your pages anymore. You can tear it out, which is really cool. I love when pages tear like this. But you can also just remove it without damaging the paper. What? Where has this been? Wow. And I can just put it in whenever I want. How cool. Anyway, back to the drawing. Okay, so now that I have 2 fairly identical drawings, I am going to use microns to ink this one and the Rapidograph pen to ink this one and see how they look side by side. So here are the similar enough two dogs side by side, and honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a hard time telling the difference now that I look at them side by side. I definitely feel like the Rapidograph is a little bit smoother in its darks, a little darker, but not super noticeable. I was able to get more controlled lines with the Rapidograph pen, I'd say, more consistent than some over here. Like there's some small ones, but I also definitely got a little overhanded with the dark spots, like right here. And to be really honest, I'm a little rusty with just line work like this, so it may have just been user error, the fact that I did the microns first, that I didn't get the handle of strong lines versus thin lines and where they should be. I thought that the result would probably be similar, but I did not expect them to be this similar. I guess the bottom line is the Rapidographs are more expensive because, like pretty much every other professional art tool I've used, they're built to last longer. You know, even professional paint tubes have less paint, but they're way more rich, so you get more bang for your buck, whereas microns are just as wonderful, I think, as Rapidograph pens. They just will probably not last as long. They're disposable. They're meant to go out sketching with. So if you like to reduce waste, then that's a reason to get Rapidograph pens, to spend the extra money on not, you know, contributing to as much waste. But if you're mostly sketching outdoors and can't, you know, avoid shaking your nibs a little bit, or maybe you don't have the means to buy an expensive set, then you're totally fine with microns. I think they're an excellent choice. I'm actually really surprised. I thought there would be something. But, you know, I am really excited to keep working with the Rapidograph pens. I think, you know, I'm going to be inking enough to justify having them, and maybe after a month of using them or a couple months of using them, I will have different opinions on how they're different than microns. But as of right now, I'm having a hard time seeing the difference. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. It's definitely not the tools that make the artist. It's just that having nice tools makes it a little bit easier. So don't feel like you need this pen to be a good artist, or even this pen. Use a ballpoint pen. I just wanted to explore the differences and hopefully give you guys some pointers if you were thinking about upgrading to a professional pen, or even if you're thinking of upgrading to a Micron. Hope you enjoyed the comparison. Next video, I'm going to be comparing imitation gold leaf, which is pretty inexpensive, and real 18 karat gold leaf. I'm really excited to finally be doing weekly videos with you guys. Be sure to give me a follow if you want to see more. Turn on those notifications because YouTube hates showing videos now, I don't know why. And if you're really interested in the endangered species project that I'm going to be doing, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where I'll be posting it hopefully daily. It's amazing to be back. I'll see you next time for some gold leafing.